Hi, Jen here from Jen Michelle Coaching, and today I want to talk about, are you doing too much in your relationship? 3 signs. For those of you new to my channel, I would love to invite you to subscribe. I release a video weekly. I get a lot of comments, questions, and inquiries about, am I doing too much in my relationship? Am I in my masculine energy? Why do I feel burnt out, insecure, and just a sense of no control over emotions? So I want to talk about 3 ways to know if you're doing too much in your relationship and how you can kind of shift this dynamic quickly. Number 1, do you have low confidence, anger, resentment, hopelessness? If you're feeling this way, I invite you to look at what you're doing in your relationship that is causing this level of burnout and insecurity within. Because what can satisfy us in the short term can lead to a gaping sort of space in the long term. Because it may look like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna take care of it. He didn't. Or, okay, it leads to one thing after another. And before you know it, he's completely leaning back and you're doing everything. And if he's a masculine man, he probably will allow it, but it's not going to feel good for him. It will develop a resentment in him as well, a passivity where he doesn't feel things are aligned on that gut level. And it doesn't feel good for you either, because you have that brewing inside of you, and it leads you to feel a lack of control over your emotions. So maybe one minute you're angry and you lash out, and then of course that can then lead to deep insecurity and being too nice or trying to clean it up, and then that cycle restarting. And so if you notice in your relationship that you're feeling this way, I invite you to start taking care of yourself, because your self-care and your ability to start filling up your cup is going to be key. So you are doing the things that really reminds him of who he fell in love with in the first place. Most women I talked to had many of their own things going on. Maybe they were taking weekly classes, they were developing themselves, they had a lightness, a hopefulness about the future. It's really important to learn how to access these qualities again within yourself, so resentment, anger, and insecurity aren't running the show in relationship. But when we feel bad, we often look for a reason. And if you're anything like most women, the first place you're going to look is your intimate relationship, and you're going to say, oh, I must feel bad because of him. When in reality, you're likely feeling bad because you're not doing the things that make you feel like the best version of yourself. So how can you show up to this and really take deliberate care of yourself again? Number 2, fear of letting go and leaving the ball on the floor. So there's a deep fear that if you don't do it, who will? Or he won't? Are we safe? Are we going to be okay? How will we feel if he doesn't do it? We start doing things to keep it alive, to keep it stable, but the energy feels heavy, it feels forced, and there's a lot of tension brewing. And so letting it sort of just be on the floor means you're leaving the mess, you're resetting, you're now taking care of yourself, and you're not giving from an empty cup, or you're not giving to get in hopes that he will show up a certain way. So you are allowing the mess to be on the floor, and you're going to see what he's capable of. Can he rise to the occasion? Can he start showing up? Can you start to flip this dynamic to empower him to make more and more decisions that are for the good of the relationship, and to really see you the way that you know deep down he's capable of, or the way that he demonstrated in the beginning of your connection? Number 3, you are living inside your partner's head and preemptively sort of playing puppeteer. This is something I see a lot of. We want to do things from their vantage point versus our vantage point, which leaves things muddled and messy. So instead of thinking about what you need to be okay, or what would serve you, or what would honor you, you start thinking preemptively about what's on their mind, what do they need, or what are they thinking, and reacting to that anxiety. So I always say to women, stay in your own lane. Do not live in someone else's head, and do things to exit your head too. But you are not sort of doing this weird mind control thing where you're obsessing about what he's thinking or what he's going to do or not do. You are taking care of the one person you have control over, as I always say, and you're showing up for yourself again and again and again. Because to live in this state where we're trying to anticipate what another person is thinking or what they will do or not do only leaves us even more burnt out and feeling just bad about ourselves, because we know deep down that we're spinning our wheels and it doesn't feel good. It feels like we've spent the whole day just ruminating. And so if you catch yourself going into that, I invite you to connect to what your internal experience is, what thing you could do differently in your life to get a personal sense of agency, to take back some level of control, to start building yourself up and approaching things from your feminine energy and from just a higher frequency, and this inner knowing that that you're safe and that you're loved and that you're worth it and that you're the prize and that you don't have to do anything out of desperation to get the love that you want or to have the relationship be successful. In fact, it's so often quite the opposite, right? So for those of you that are interested in following these 3 steps, I have no doubt that you will see some changes in your relationship dynamic. And as always, I love your comments and feedback, so please share anything in the comments. Go to my site, jenmichellecoaching.com, to learn more about me and what I do. I have lots of different offerings there, from digital programs, from one-to-one coaching, as well as group. And you can explore all of my offerings there, and I'll see you all next week. Much love.
Got this feeling I can't describe.